Hello from Guy Havord and welcome to Carrow Road for this afternoon's championship match between Norwich City and Middlesbrough. A 6-goal thriller when they met here last season. What have we got in store today? Norwich return home after a couple of excellent victories on the road. Harry Darling there, a scorer in their win last week against Portsmouth at Fratton Park. They also won at Watford. And Kenny McLean, who was absent for both those games, is fit today to return to the subs bench. So good news for Norwich and their supporters ahead of this match. Well, the visitors, Middlesbrough, have made the long trip down from the northeast on this bank holiday weekend. Long trip for them last week as well, but it was a wonderful second half performance at Millwall that saw them win by 3-0. Early days, admittedly, for Rob Edwards at Middlesbrough, but very encouraging so far. Played 2-1-2 in the Championship. So good afternoon and welcome to Norfolk in the east of England for this Championship fixture. Norwich City against Middlesbrough. Two teams who want to improve on last season. Norwich City, founder members of the Premier League back in the early 90s, but last season they were stuck in mid-table, and in fact had the fewest points in the Championship since 2009. These supporters have been encouraged by some of the arrivals that have come in recent weeks, and particularly that performance last week down at Portsmouth. A difficult place to go at the best of times, but particularly when it is Portsmouth's first home game of the season. The Borough supporters, well, they deserve a medal. It's difficult at the best of times getting from Middlesbrough to Norwich, but on a bank holiday weekend, very difficult. An excited Carrow Road is filling up. The players are in the tunnel, and we are just minutes away from this Championship fixture. Carrow Road has had just one game so far this season. A disappointing start here. They lost against Millwall by 2-1. Josh Sargent, their scorer. No great surprise there. Sargent has been in good form already this season, scoring in all 3 matches. Middlesbrough, I spoke about that terrific second half performance at Millwall last week, but they also won against Swansea on the opening day of the season. 3-3 when these two sides met here last season. We'll hope for similar excitement here today. Shirt sleeves, flags are out as well. Yellow and green, very much the colour again here at Carrow Road. Well, first the substitutes come out. It is one of the smaller tunnels down there, one of the older grounds, hadn't been modernised. Kenny McLean just shaking hands with fans and backroom staff alike, how delighted they are to see him back. Their captain. Really good atmosphere inside the ground, as there always seems to be here at Carrow Road, particularly with expectations so high after that win last week. There aren't many teams with a 100% record, but these supporters are following one of those teams. Middlesbrough make it 3 from 3 today. Well, Liam Manning picked up his first Championship points at Norwich on the road last week. Now the head coach hopes to taste Carrow Road success after his debut game a fortnight ago, ending in anti-climax against Millwall. Like Manning, Rob Edwards knows a fast start in any new managerial spell is important. And he's certainly got it. Maximum points with Middlesbrough so far, and no goals conceded. Jack Wilshere was the man in charge of Norwich when they last met in April. The game finished in a draw that all but ended Michael Carrick's hopes of guiding Borough into the playoffs. The top six, again the goal for both these sides this season. Well, in terms of the team news, Norwich City knew that they'd have to replace Marcelino Nunez, who was injured in the win at Portsmouth last week. His place in midfield is taken by Jacob Wright. In fact, that's the only change for Liam Manning, as Josh Sargent chases his 4th goal in the opening 4 in League and Cup. Good news from the subs bench today, with club captain Kenny McLean returning after injury in pre-season. It's been a busy week in the transfer market for Middlesbrough, but it's a player who's been linked with a move away who returns to the starting lineup today. Irish international Finn Azaz, thought to be a target for Southampton, replaces Abdoulaye Kante, who's a substitute. On the bench, let's hope we get to see Svara Naipan, an exciting Norwegian teenager who was bought by Manchester City for £12 million during the summer and immediately sent out on loan to Rob Edwards, Middlesbrough. But he is keeping him on the bench for the time being. Finn Azaz returns. A lot of speculation about his future. Starts his first game of the season. Liam Manning having to juggle new players coming in and also expectations about possible current players departing. Josh Sargent is the key one he's hoping to keep until September the 1st. Sargent has started all 4 games so far in League and Cup for Norwich City, and he wears the captain's armband again today. Jose Cordoba is having 1 or 2 words with his teammates there, and he was one of the players that actually was sent off last season when our referee this afternoon, Lee Doughty, took charge of Norwich matches. Also showed a red card to Blackburn Rovers' Emmanuel Dennis in a game against Norwich City. So the home side to get us underway in their familiar kit. Middlesbrough have changed to their away strip. Only Leeds United scored more goals at home last season than Norwich City. Middlesbrough weren't too far behind, but both clubs weren't happy with the managerial direction, hence 2 new bosses trying to stamp their mark in the opening weeks of the season. Early touch for Luke Ayling, looking for the run of Conway, but just decided to keep possession of the ball. Conway was a scorer not once but twice when these 2 sides met last season here at Carrow Road. Borough thought they'd had the game won at 3-1 at half-time, but it ended 3-3 as Diallo makes an early incision into Middlesbrough territory and wins a corner, which is... It looked like it was going to be quickly taken by Marcondes, but it was just a dummy. Rob Edwards, the Middlesbrough head coach, spoke about Norwich being the land of the giants. So many big players. Topic there, Medic as well. Harry Darling scored last week from a set play. Darling number 6 at the back of that queue around about the penalty spot. But it's an easy one for Sol Bryn, who I'm sure has spent quite some time this week practicing set plays. Not just 1 but 2 set play goals for Norwich last week. Sienats it was giving away the foul here with a late tackle on Morgan Whittaker. This is Hackney. Hackney again. And Hackney once more. Can he get the shot away? Might come for Conway. Kovacevic dives on it. The hero last week against Portsmouth. Made a penalty save. Colby Bishop. Some other important blocks as well. Neat interchanging passing here from the visitors, who were so impressive in the second 45 down in London last week. Swept Millwall away. Hackney it was who actually scored the first goal of the game just after half-time. Started in an attacking role, Hayden Hackney, but was then sort of dropped into midfield when Kante came off at half-time. And with Azaz back in that front three, this is Conway. And Azaz, well, it was an attempt at goal, but in the end, it nearly found a teammate. Whittaker unable to get the ball under control, and that was a horrible moment at the back for Norwich City. This is Harry Darling, trying to establish some calm there. Diallo. Oh, what a golden opportunity that was for Norwich City. Just didn't make the best of it. It was almost like they were as surprised as Norwich City to get that opportunity. Kovacevic, having built him up as the hero last week, which he was nearly the villain here, just dwelt on the ball. Conway for Azaz. I'm not quite sure, he was trying to pick out Whittaker. It wasn't the best of passes, and Whittaker unable to react quickly enough. But Borough very much on the front foot in the opening minutes of this game. Opportunity though for Norwich to get going. Cordoba. Harry Darling, scorer of one goal and creator as well, with a long throw-in. Sure we will see that later this afternoon, higher up the pitch. Josh Sargent it was who eventually got on the end of it to give Norwich a 2-0 lead in that first half. The first 45 minutes when they absolutely dominated and could have been 3 or 4-0 up at the break. Topic. Cordoba, bit of space to run into. Diallo's available to his left-hand side, instead goes infield. A lot of praise for Cordoba and the whole of the defensive unit for Norwich City for withstanding a lot of that pressure that Portsmouth threw at them at the end of the game. Sargent giving away a free kick here. And those two will have played a few games against each other down through the years, Luke Ayling and Josh Sargent. Silvera nearly ran it out of play, but he does well to find Azaz. Continues his run here, the Australian. Trying to cause problems for Stacey. Yeah, really good start for Middlesbrough. One of only 3 teams with a 100% record in the Championship at the moment. This is Hackney, who can strike them from distance. A lot of Middlesbrough players forward, but Norwich unable to find the pass, and Ayling emphasising the point as the defender goes forward, that it's very much a front foot start from the visitors. Stacey was stretching there, left something on Sammy Silveira. Ref says play on. Diallo's available over on that far side. Sargent goes edge of the penalty area. Stacey's the target, bit of work for him to do here, and no real time or space to deliver the cross that he loves to do from that wing-back position. Middlesbrough weren't happy that referee allowed play to go on there when Silveira got caught, but no real consequences coming from that decision. Alfie Jones with the throw-in. One of the scorers down at Millwall last week, his first goal for the club since he arrived from Hull during the summer. Hoping to swap a relegation battle for a push for promotion, and that certainly is the aim of Middlesbrough Football Club. They've done some really good business, and they're not finished yet. Being linked with Matt Targett, the Newcastle United defender. They are looking for a left back, a left wing back, hoping that he may be able to come on loan. A shot will come in from Sargent. Stacey goes across. Silveira on the floor again, but this time he's okay. Stacey always second best for that, wasn't he? But he wasn't going to back out, the former Bournemouth man. Signed a new contract with Norwich City during the summer. Vote of confidence from Liam Manning, the head coach, who saw two faces from his side last week. Good, silky, attacking football in the first half, creating lots of chances, and then maybe some un-Norwich-like qualities that have possibly been lacking in recent times. Backs against the wall, gritty determination, and some dogged defending. Options here, left and right. Stacey screaming for it down the right-hand side. Instead, it's gone infield. Emiliano Marcondes it was who was dispossessed on that occasion for Norwich City. Started the game at Portsmouth last week, but was subbed at half-time. Azaz. Conway holds his run. Silveira. Running at Stacey, forgetting momentarily to take the ball with him. There's quite a story with Norwich City, does Rob Edwards. 2011, he was playing for Blackpool. He came here on loan. He only played 3 games during that spell, but it contributed in a very small way to Norwich City actually getting promoted to the Premier League that season under Paul Lambert. He did get to the Premier League as a manager with Luton Town recently. And he'll aim to get there again with his new club, Middlesbrough. Certainly will be really excited by the players that are coming into the building, and the fact that probably the biggest transfer budget that he's had to work with as a manager. A lot of excitement about Svara Naipan. I think it was always going to be the case that he would be on the bench today, having only signed early in the week from Manchester City on loan. He's only 18 years of age, but a huge prospect. Watching as Finn Azaz picks up the ball. Azaz, good delivery. Fry. This is Ayling. Fry to Alfie Jones. Part of a defence that has yet to concede a goal in the Championship this season. And incredibly, Middlesbrough are the only team who haven't conceded a goal as yet, after Charlton were beaten earlier today by Leicester City by a 1-0. Middlesbrough started the weekend in second place and are still in second place. Bristol City did have the opportunity to go top last night, but could only draw at Derby County, conceding a late equaliser. Stoke and West Brom, the other two teams with 100% records, kicking off at 3 o'clock like this game. Well, just the one real opportunity, you have to say, so far for Middlesbrough after that error from Kovacevic that Finn Azaz didn't make the best of. Azaz, certainly an uncertain future, it feels, for the next few days. Rob Edwards admitted that they turned down a big offer from another club. He wouldn't say which club it was, but reports suggest it's Southampton. Now this is Stacey. Can he get the shot away? Just took a touch too many, you feel. Dale Fry came across, the captain. Well, Stacey here could have taken it first time, but the touch just took him away from goal as well and enticed the challenge from the Middlesbrough captain. Jacob Wright to take this corner. Darling again, round about the penalty spot. Middlesbrough will try and keep an eye on him. Back in it goes, and the keeper should claim this comfortably, and does. Sol Bryn getting his opportunity due to the fact that Seny Dieng has been out for so long with an injury, had an operation. Easy claim for him here. But the good news is that Seny Dieng is back in training. He's recovered from that Achilles operation. All smiles by all accounts. Not on the bench today, but not too far away from returning. Towards Conway it goes, but unable to find the former Bristol City striker who played under Liam Manning. But he's in direct opposition to him here today. Condes gingerly getting himself back to his feet after this challenge from Morris. Don't think you have too much complaints about that. Topic. Medic. Preston North End lead Ipswich by 1-0 as Majic. Darling does well. Conway was ready had he not been able to intercept that ball into the area. Haji Wright has scored for Coventry, who lead Queen's Park Rangers by 1-0. Stacey is the outlet. Medic again. Diallo made his championship debut last week at Fratton Park. Big key for more scoring for Wrexham, who've had a disappointing start to the season so far. Early days, of course, but no points for Wrexham currently, no points for Sheffield Wednesday either. Marcondes getting it out to Diallo. Cernats. Opportunity here for Stacey. Well, it was clever by Marcondes, who was offside, and he just let the ball run. The referee has actually blown up for offside. This is an interesting one. Whether Stacey was offside or whether it was given against another Norwich player who appeared not to be interfering with play. Look at 11 Marcondes in the centre, who is in an offside position, but it could be argued, I suppose, that he was interfering with play there. Quite sure Stacey might have been offside anyway, but no real complaints from Norwich City. Diallo. Home supporters didn't see him in the opening game. He didn't get onto the pitch, so this is his home debut here today. Really exciting player. Liam Manning spoke about his unpredictability on the pitch. He does things that get you off your seat. Stacey again, been such an outlet already for Norwich City down this right-hand side. Silvera holds him up, but only momentarily. Right with the ball in. Sargent it was who got up high. Applauds the cross. Well, he scored in all the games so far for Norwich City this season. First sighting of goal this afternoon for the USA international. Luke Ayling did just enough to put him off. Well, there is uncertainty about his future, but not a lot of noise, it has to be said, in the last 7 to 10 days in terms of possible move away from Carrow Road. He is almost irreplaceable for Norwich City. They're pretty short in terms of centre-forwards as it is. Lost all those goals last season, didn't they, with Borja Sainz departing during the summer. They'll not want to lose Sargent as well. Even Steven start to this game. You have to think of Carrow Road as a fortress. A really difficult place to come, a place where some managers, the likes of Daniel Farke, have built really successful teams on the back of strong form here in front of their supporters. But the record hasn't been great in the calendar year so far. They've only managed back-to-back wins in the Championship just once in 2025, and that was back in January. Sandwiched in between that was a home game in the FA Cup where they were hammered by Brighton. Looking to get their first points here at Carrow Road this season. Sargent had made the run. Easy for Fry to tidy up. Bryn takes a touch. Lost his balance a little bit there. Silvera comes and helps him. This is Hackney. Very much in that deeper lying role compared to where he started at Millwall on Saturday. Abdoulaye Kante is on the bench this afternoon. He started down in London, but Rob Edwards accepted afterwards maybe he'd thrown him in a little bit too quickly as he settles in English football. In fact, it was the man who came on, Sonji Hansen, who made such an impression. Involved in the first goal, and just his energy really revitalised Borough's performance. The general thought was that Hansen would come in today for Kante from the start, but instead it's Azaz who has got the nod. Conde's just checking that Morris is okay. Another full house here at Carrow Road. Rarely an empty seat. It'll be around about 26,000 again, full to capacity. Terrific following on the road as well. We've seen 2 successive away victories in the EFL Cup against Watford, and then that win at Pompey. Concern for Borough though here. Sol Bryn just getting a bit of treatment. In the meantime, the 10 outfield players getting a bit of a pep talk. It was Tom Glover who's the reserve goalkeeper. As I mentioned, Seny Dieng, although he returned to training this week, not put on the bench. Well, we saw Bryn, didn't we, just lose his balance here. I wonder if he's fallen awkwardly when he cleared that ball out to the far touchline. Looks fairly innocuous though, doesn't it? I think he's going to be okay. Got his opportunity last season. 8 appearances for Borough, the first since he came through the youth system, like so many do at Middlesbrough Football Club. They've had a fantastic academy down through the years. Hayden Hackney out there at the moment, another one of those who has really done the academy proud. They earn a fair amount of money from it as well down through the years. Hayden Hackney, by all accounts, the club turned down an offer of around about £20 million for him, thought to be from Ipswich. It'll be interesting to see whether any Premier League clubs come in for the talented midfielder before the window closes. Ayling. Hackney. Finding Whittaker. Dale Fry. Broom does well. In fact, he's conceded possession, but relatively high up the pitch. Diallo with the cross in. Sargent's got such a good leap, hasn't he? He's not the tallest player in the Championship by some distance, but the amount of headed goals he does get and the amount of times he gets above defenders who are bigger than him. Well, he's taken up a really good position here. Managed to climb high, but like the effort that we saw a few minutes ago, just unable to really maintain his balance. Well, not too bad for Norwich supporters to get here. Admittedly, some will come from far afield, from London probably, but for Middlesbrough supporters, it's a tough old trip. 5 hours on the train at the best of times, but this is a bank holiday weekend, so it would have been a torturous trip down, I'm sure. Relatively pleased with what they've seen from their team so far. Just feel that Norwich are starting to grow into the game. Another free kick has been won. Well, Luke Ayling it was, and we're inching, I think, towards yellow cards. One or two players are pushing the referee, Lee Doughty. Well, they scored from a free kick down at Portsmouth on Saturday. Marcelino Nunez it was who delivered it. Injured today, and it's his replacement, Jacob Wright, who will try and find the forehead of Harry Darling, as Nunez did last week. Here come Norwich again. Diallo. Topic continues his run. Behind it goes for a goal kick. Well, Diallo had 2 assists in that debut in the EFL Cup at Watford. Doesn't speak a lot of English, but as I said, looks a really good young prospect, just 21 years of age. Wright, signed from Manchester City during the summer on a permanent basis. Stacey the target, unable to stop that one going out for a throw-in. Well, Middlesbrough were better than Millwall last week by some distance, and Millwall were better than Norwich on day one, so in terms of a straight form line, if Borough were a racehorse, you would certainly have them as hot favourites to win this contest, but they're not, and this is a game of football that is pretty even so far as we head over the half-hour mark. Zaz looking for Conway, who's had very few touches of the ball so far. Unable to find him on this occasion. Just 4 touches so far for Tommy Conway, the Middlesbrough centre-forward, in stark contrast to Josh Sargent, who has got himself half opportunities and also got himself in the build-up as well. Mentioned the exciting young Norwegian Sverre Nypan, who they have on the bench on loan from Manchester City. Made another signing this week, Borough, when Adilson Malanda was signed from the MLS from Charlotte FC for around about £6 million. But he won't be available until January. He's gone back to America to finish the season there. French defender. Diallo finding Wright. And Wright's going to shoot for goal. Well, something to shout about for the Norwich City supporters. His manager says he likes to do things off the cuff. He nearly found the top corner there. Going to take him time to settle into English football. Norwich City with one or two injuries at the moment. It's often the case that players maybe get into the team quicker than expected. A lot of touches for him so far. I mentioned Borja Sainz, who actually played on the left-hand side last season, who obviously departed during the summer. And Mankwa Forsen, another attacking wide player, started the season but then sadly picked up an injury. He's going to be out for some weeks. Jeffrey Schlupp it was who started the opening game here against Millwall in that left wing-back position over on the far side, but Diallo has replaced him. Schlupp is a substitute again today. Signed from Crystal Palace during the summer. Missing out not only on that FA Cup win at the tail end of last season, but Palace's first ever game in Europe this week. Sure, he was watching from afar. Stacey with the ball in for Norwich. Diallo arriving. Angle wasn't great. Well, Norwich City have grown into this game. And they're looking the more threatening team at the moment. Jack Stacey almost playing as a right winger for a lot of this first half. I think he was just trying to feed a teammate there. I think he was going for goal, Diallo. Maybe he was, just didn't get his body shape right. But Liam Manning will feel a lot better than maybe he did at times here against Millwall on that opening game of the season, although they did start that game well. All the goals coming in the second half. 10 minutes to go to half-time. Norwich pressing again. Darling just uses his body as a shield to stop Conway winning the header. Silvera, Azaz. Diallo's on his bike down that left-hand side. Here he is once more. Sargent in the penalty area, Stacey as well. Buzz of excitement when he gets the ball. Stacey again is chasing. It was interesting that both fullbacks were substituted quite some way out down at Fratton Park last Saturday for Norwich City. And you feel again that Jack Stacey in particular will be struggling to do 90 minutes at the pace and distance he's gone so far. They have two terrific Fullbacks on the bench as well in Cresceni and Kellen Fisher. Wing-backs, full-backs, it's a debate among some supporters about quite how they are setting up. Mainly it does look like 3 centre-halves. Another goal for keeper Moore. And Wrexham might just be getting their first points back in the second tier after a long wait. And wow, what a start for Coventry City. 4-0 up against Queen's Park Rangers. Here come Middlesbrough. We're looking for our first goal here at Carrow Road this afternoon. There were 6 when these two sides met last season. As I said, Borough 3-1 up and unable to hang on to a victory. And for some of the supporters, the older supporters, it will have brought back memory of a game in the Premier League here when Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank was among their scorers. In fact, he scored a couple and put Borough 4-1 up against Norwich, and they still couldn't win it. Ended 4-4. Actually 4-1 up going into the final 10 minutes of that game. Stacey. Millwall leading at Sheffield United, who've had a wretched start to the season. They are also pointless. Pretty gloomy for the city of Sheffield at the bottom of the Championship. Fizzed out to Stacey, takes it in his stride, gets away from Silvera. Good ball in! Oh! Of all the people to have that on his forehead, you would have thought Josh Sargent would have converted. Only had a couple of sighters, but missed out completely there. Still Norwich trying to conjure something up with Marcondes. Well, it's getting louder and louder inside Carrow Road. They will feel that their team should have been ahead, and well, Josh Sargent, his body language says it all. Stacey again, brilliantly away from the defender, got his head up. You could not ask for a better delivery, and somehow the American failing to hit the target. Now an opportunity for Middlesbrough, and over the crossbar it goes from Morris. Well, both sides will feel that they could be ahead here seconds after Sargent's error. Norwich give the ball away cheaply, and once more it's another error from Kovacevic, and Morris opting to chip him. Medic, off goes Stacey. Well, he's not going to get that. Quite clearly shows where he wanted it. It's another teething problem really for all the new players that arrive. Just getting used to the way teammates play. Jack Stacey, regular in recent times for Norwich City. But Jakov Medic just getting used to maybe the runs of that position over on this near side. Whittaker And Hackney in a bit of space. Azaz to the left-hand side. This is Finn Azaz going for goal and scoring. Well, the man who's been linked with a move away from Middlesbrough recalled to the starting lineup today, and that is why. Finn Azaz, with goals and assists last season, is a player Middlesbrough surely will want to keep if they are to push for promotion this season. It was all a bit too easy. So much space for Hackney. Azaz as well. Isolated the big fullback, Medic. And it was relatively simple for the Irish international to give Borough the lead on the stroke of half-time. Well, Norwich, as good as they have been going forward in recent times, still at the back are looking decidedly shaky. They coughed up a couple of soft opportunities for Middlesbrough that weren't taken. Azaz early on had an opportunity, didn't he, in the opening few minutes, that he didn't take after an error from the Norwich goalkeeper. But he certainly took that with some confidence. Well, if Southampton are interested still in signing Finn Azaz, I think they might have to bid a bit more than £12 million now. And the old cliche about you can't have too many good players certainly is true, but obviously clubs at all levels have to balance the books, and it's another error from Norwich City, who've gifted up possession as Middlesbrough go looking for a second goal before half-time, and they've got it from Conway. Oh, this game has turned on its head. Who saw Middlesbrough 2-0 up at half-time just a few minutes ago? But it's really poor from Norwich City at the back, you have to say. Tommy Conway, who scored twice last season, but it only earned a point for Middlesbrough, will be hoping that that will help them to all three today. Possession won so easily, and Conway completely unmarked in the 6-yard box. It's Morris here, he just gets his head up, but just have a look at Conway. No one's marking him, literally in front of the goalkeeper. Where do you want to put it? And this is really poor from Norwich City. Well, as I said earlier, they led by 2 goals at half-time last season and didn't win. They've been 4-1 up here and didn't win. So those supporters with long enough memories, whether it be a year or a couple of decades, will not be counting their chickens just yet. 3 minutes of stoppage time. And Norwich City supporters, who were making such a noise a few minutes ago, drowned out now by the red and white of Middlesbrough. Cordoba trying to get a flick on. Whittaker away for Middlesbrough. Cordoba, it was the creator of their second goal down at Fratton Park with a flick on, and Sargent got on the end of it. But they're going to be 2-0 down at half-time, it seems, at the moment, unless something breaks in the remaining 90 seconds of this half. I was lamenting, wasn't I, the fact that Coventry fans had had 4 goals in 37 minutes, and we didn't really look like we were going to get one, and then suddenly quite a few opportunities arose. Sargent had that header that could have put Norwich ahead. Morris then chipped over with the goalkeeper off his line. And then bang, bang, Rob Edwards and his team are leading in the Championship again. Well, Middlesbrough not taking as much time as they can here with this throw-in. They know they're virtually at half-time. One or two boos from the home supporters. Finn Azaz giving Middlesbrough the lead just before half-time, and then closer to the half-time whistle, it was Conway, completely unmarked, and Middlesbrough, for the second season running, have a 2-goal advantage at Carrow Road in the Championship. Really poor defending by Norwich City, who had one or two opportunities, Josh Sargent in particular, but Liam Manning has a big job to do at half-time because his team are trailing and looking a little despondent as they head into the dressing room. Half-time at Carrow Road, it's Norwich City 0, Middlesbrough 2. He's given them a cushion going into this second half. Middlesbrough to get us underway. And 15 minutes for Borough fans to do screen grabs on their phone of the Championship table, because at half-time, Middlesbrough are top of the Championship currently. How long will that last? It's a good side, isn't it, to see your team top? But there's a lot of work to do, and they've given the ball away early on here, Middlesbrough, hoping not to pick up some of the bug that laid Norwich City so low just before half-time. No changes at the break, it seemed, from a Norwich point of view. Liam Manning was out quite some time, just sat on the bench, staring into the middle distance. I'm sure there will be tactical tweaks, maybe just a little bit too open at times. They have two really attacking wing-backs in Stacey, who we saw get forward a lot, and Diallo on the other flank. They were two of Norwich's best attacking players, you have to say, but defensively left very exposed. But there were some individual errors as well, although you cannot take away the hard work that Middlesbrough's players put in off the ball to win possession back again. They pressed really hard. It's a feature of their opening two games that Rob Edwards has been speaking about, what they do when they don't have the ball. This is Sargent. Right. Medic. He didn't have the best of games, Medic, here at Carrow Road on his debut against Millwall. And that's another 45 minutes that he will not want to remember. Ref says play on. Opportunity here possibly for Marcondes, finding Diallo. Teases it in over Marcondes, and disappointing end to something that had shown flashes of promise. They have to get the next goal, Norwich City. Otherwise this could be a long, embarrassing and awkward afternoon so early in the season. Azaz turning well. Topic wins it back and gets a free kick as well, and a first yellow card of the afternoon. Hackney holding. Darling. There's an opportunity here. Good block. Or a try and counter-attack. Cordoba, though, for the home side. Diallo. It's a good ball in. Stacey's arriving. Stretching, giving away the free kick. He's fallen really awkwardly here, Stacey. So too has Silvera, I think it is. Stacey's coming at a really awkward angle. Can't say his foot was that high up. It was Silvera who was going quite low to head the ball. But a head injury certainly for the Middlesbrough man, and Stacey will need treatment as well. Looks decidedly groggy at the moment, the fullback. As I said, Norwich with the stretchers coming on. It's all gone a little bit quiet here. Jack Stacey may have to depart, it seems. Stretcher coming on. And Liam Manning, who will have thought long and hard about making changes on the back of that awful end to the first half, looks like he will be forced into altering his 11 here. Kellen Fisher it was who came on for Stacey last week down at Fratton Park, but that was a tactical move. Well, they won't want another injury, Norwich City. Marcelino Nunez it was last week who was ruled out for a number of weeks after picking up an ankle injury at Fratton Park. He had to depart just a few minutes into the second half, in fact. And it looks like another Norwich player will be leaving early. Yeah, it's the end for Jack Stacey. Well, it's a big shame for him and for the supporters, because he's been one of their better players going forward. They will lose that cut and thrust down the right-hand side. Kellen Fisher, who came on last week and didn't have the best of times, it has to be said. He gave away a penalty, in fact, and was caused quite a few problems by first Josh Murphy and then Bianchini, who won the penalty against him. But he wants to play first team, and he's given an opportunity, and who knows how long Jack Stacey might be out for. They have a cup game on Tuesday, Norwich City against Southampton, and then a final championship game before the international window. So any rhythm that Norwich have been building in the opening minutes of this second half has been slowed a little bit by that injury to Jack Stacey. Middlesbrough will be happy for a bitty second half without too many opportunities. Protecting this record of not having conceded so far. And they haven't given up too many opportunities, you have to say. Probably just Josh Sargent's header when it was 0-0 not long before half-time was the only occasion really where Middlesbrough looked a little bit stretched, and Norwich probably should have taken advantage. Marcondes. Diallo arriving. onto the right foot, goes for goal. Not enough power, and ultimately not in the corner, so it meant that Bryn had a relatively easy save to make. Diallo. Well, they need to get the ball to him as much as possible. He is causing problems. Darling. Cordoba. Diallo's gone almost into a striker's position now, much more central. Marcondes. Hackney chasing, and once more, well, I thought he had been mugged there, but the referee has given a free kick. But you can just see the way Borough are playing, putting pressure on Norwich players, and as soon as they win the ball, they spring forward, trying to create overloads. This was Diallo's chance. Wanted to get onto his right foot. Unable to find the corner, though. Morris. Forward it goes to Conway. And Conway's away from Darling. Conway for 3-0. Darling got back and made the challenge. Well, that might have been game over. Tommy Conway scored again here at Carrow Road. Goalkeeper thought about coming and then left it to his big number 6 to salvage the situation. Eventually, Hayden Hackney arrives to take this corner. Dale Fry, who scored from a corner at the start of the season against Swansea, waits. Whittaker at the back post. "52 goals they scored here last season, Norwich City. Coventry absolutely routing Queen's Park Rangers at the moment, and Corby Bishop has equalised for Portsmouth against West Brom, which is good news for Middlesbrough, who were at half-time separated only by goal difference with West Brom. Both sides looking to maintain their 100% starts to the season. Stoke City, the only other side who've won their opening games so far in the Championship. Wright. Oh, it was a little bit late there. Now the referee might have a decision to make. Wright was stretching, and Wright picks up a red card. Well, is there any way back now for Norwich City? Certainly no way back for young Jacob Wright. A young player who's going to make mistakes. Just lost control of the ball, and in his desperation to win it back, he lunged into Aidan Morris, and the referee, look at his position, it could not be better. He deemed it high and out of control, and off goes Jacob Wright. And what was a really difficult task for Norwich City has got a lot harder now. Well, it's been a second half of stoppages. More treatment needed, this time for a Middlesbrough player. And Liam Manning with all sorts of problems to try and solve now. Well, he holds a couple of jokers and a couple of aces and all the cards currently. Rob Edwards knows that this game is now in Middlesbrough's hands. Morris is going to be okay. No real decisions, you have to say, for Lee Doherty. Kenny McLean might be the man to come into the centre of midfield. They probably will have to sacrifice an attacking player, Norwich City. Well, they're still in the game, but only just. They need something here to prevent the afternoon unravelling still further. Josh Sargent tried to do that. Diallo. Referee on hand gives a free kick to Norwich City, and the home supporters want some more punishment. Yellow card for Callum Britton. Well, could have another delay here. Diallo caught by Britton. Robust, you have to say, from the Middlesbrough defender. Signed from Blackburn Rovers during the summer. Spent a lot of his career, though, with MK Dons as a kid, although he departed before Liam Manning arrived there and began his managerial career. Diallo's going to be okay, it seems. They need him, particularly with Stacey having gone off injured. And down to 10 men, but he's going to have to go off for 30 seconds. And so Norwich will be down to 9 men. Well, they can argue all they like, but unfortunately, with 11, 10 or 9, they are still the laws of the game. Having got some treatment, he has to now wait by the side of the pitch. Well, it goes without saying that Norwich City and their supporters really need a lift here. Marcondes knows this is a big opportunity, chance to get their big centre halves forward. Marcondes with the delivery into the danger zone. Sienats has it back, but we're going all the way back to the goalkeeper, Kovacevic. Frustration from home fans. Azaz. Well, Diallo is sort of on the pitch, but not really involved at the moment. Azaz with the ball in. Eventually he does now sprint to a position where he can affect the game. Topic. Cordoba. Diallo. Fisher. Up to Sargent. Sargent lays it off. Topic it was, who eventually got the shot away. Just never really got the opportunity to get it away as quickly as he wanted. In an ideal world, it would have been a first-time effort from Topic. Sargent with the ball here. And then he was held up momentarily. Still, Norwich without a meaningful shot on target. Topic. Asking a lot of Marcondes. You worry for Norwich here on the counter-attack. Conway pointing to where he wants it. Hackney ahead of Conway. Whittaker trying to put the ball in, and Kovacevic eventually comes and claims. Well, Borough's confidence will be sky high, leading here by 2-0, particularly on the back of that win last week when they went to Millwall. Such a tough place to go at the best of times, but on 3-0, they will fear no one. You can't see too many teams going to Millwall and winning by 3 clear goals this season. Just 1 effort on target so far for Norwich, although Middlesbrough have only had 2. And you have to say the goals were gifted to them by some really poor defending from the home team's point of view. So a double change. Bergzorg is coming on for Middlesbrough. But first, Emiliano Marcondes is departing for Norwich City. Looks like there's going to be quite a few changes. Sonte Hansen, who made such a difference when he came on in the second half last week against Millwall, is on, and so too Bergzorg, who also had an impressive substitutes appearance last week, actually scored in the final few seconds of that game. Well, eventually Marcondes' number is up, and number 23, the returning captain Kenny McLean, comes on. It's at times like this that you need your captain. 2-0 down to 10 men.
And number 23, Kenny McLean.
Can he dig them out of a massive hole? Confirmation there of another change. Svartau coming on for Sienat. Opportunity immediately for Hansen. Oh! Well, it's a good save in the end. First touch, possibly for Hansen, who's only just come on. Kovacevic denying a third goal for Middlesbrough with a really smart save at his near post. Hayden Hackney applauds the away supporters. on this near side of the ground. Loving what they're seeing at the moment from their team. Morris. Ayling. Bergzorg finding Hansen. Up to Sargent. Little flick. Diallo will chase. He's quick. But Britain got there first at the expense of a throw-in. Cordoba. Well, all the goals that they scored last season, only Leeds United managed more at home than the 52 that Norwich City scored. But I think we've seen this afternoon, it's the defence that was the problem. Despite all those good attacking statistics, they changed their coach during the summer, and Liam Manning probably will be judged as much on how strong his defence are. And they were last Saturday at Fratton Park, but they haven't been here this afternoon. Been a difficult 2025 for Norwich so far. Finazaz, who scored the first goal for Borough just before the break, is the man to make way. Travelling supporters may speculate whether they will see him again in a Borough shirt. They will hope so. Being linked with that possible move to Southampton. And here is the youngster, Svara Naipan, on loan from Manchester City, who paid £12.5 million for him during the summer. He's only 18. Bought from Rosenborg, where he made his debut as a 15-year-old, and Manchester City want him to get tough championship experience this season, and that's why he's been put on loan. Rob Edwards described him as a creator, loves to get forward and conjure up opportunities, and it will be a treat, you feel, for Borough supporters to watch him play this season. Of course, had Ben Doak last year, who was another brilliant loan signing for them until he got injured. It's a real compliment to the club as well that the likes of Liverpool and Manchester United trust them. In towards Diallo it goes. Topic. Cordoba. Ayling tidies up. Still a bit of work for him to do, but he's got the throw in. Well, this early season momentum that Middlesbrough have got has come despite the end of season slump that they suffered, that ultimately resulted in the departure of Michael Carrick. It's 4 points from their last 6 matches as they fell away from what seemed at one point clear chance of qualifying for the playoffs. But they're working so hard at the moment, looking for this third goal that would give them a comfortable finish to the game. Plenty of bodies in there, including Hansen. Keeps the ball alive. Alfie Jones unable to get it out to Silvera. But they do look a threat on the break, Middlesbrough. Maybe the games at the Riverside where they will have to break down low blocks, and it was a narrow victory on the opening day against Swansea, courtesy of a set piece. Sheffield United come to town next weekend. A game that at the start of the season would have looked a really tough one for Middlesbrough, but the way Sheffield United have begun so far, they may be fancying their chances, who knows, to go into the international break with 12 points out of 12. Diallo looking to kickstart Norwich City this afternoon, but still spluttering. Well, for all the positivity of their last 2 away games, one in the Cup, one in the League, the wins at Watford and Portsmouth, this will feel like a massive setback for Norwich City. You want your away form to be strong, of course you do, but it's at home really that should be the bedrock of your season. It's at home where all your supporters come and see you week after week, and where Liam Manning is looking to make a really good, strong first impression that he is the right man to take Norwich City forward. Ailing thought about shooting. Britton happy to take the corner, which will be taken very slowly, I'm sure. Well, you wouldn't say it's comfortable for Middlesbrough at the moment, but you feel they are very much in control of this second half. Although I bring back last season, 3-1 up, didn't win. In that Premier League game 2 decades ago, when they were 4-1 up going into the last 10 minutes and still didn't win, albeit against 11 Norwich City players on that occasion. Jimmy Floyd Hasselbank scored a couple for Middlesbrough, and Dean Ashton was among the scorers for Norwich City. 2 sides who've had their time in the top flight. It's been a battle to stay there, and in recent years it's been a battle to even get near there. Norwich did make the playoffs a couple of seasons ago, but the wait for Middlesbrough has been quite a long one. Just one playoff campaign they've had in the last 7 seasons. McLean with the ball in, looking towards that back post, and Medic. Still time. Norwich fans still believing. Keeper comes. One of his teammates got it away though. Schwartau for Norwich City. trying to make light of this one-man disadvantage. Fry with the header, and wins the free kick as well. Dale Fry, a decade since his debut with Middlesbrough. He and his fellow defenders have repelled most things that Norwich have thrown at them so far. Jose Cordoba is the man coming off. Jeffrey Schlupp comes on, signed from Crystal Palace during the summer. And the end for Diallo, an impressive home debut. 80 minutes for him. He has been a live wire. Matthias Kriskun is the man who replaces him. Chris Ford-New was signed from Bromby during the summer. A Danish forward. Norwich can go for broke really in the remaining 10 minutes. There'll be quite a lot of stoppage time as well. If they can just get a goal before the 90, and I think the roar will be massive at 2-1 when the board goes up. Bergsall trying to hold his run. Here he is. Morris. Morris again. Hansen makes the run. Naipan also available, edge of the penalty area. Hansen. Borgzorg. Ayling will go for goal this time, and the goalkeeper a little bit fortunate, bounces off his leg. Norwich looking a little bit ragged at the moment. Borough pressing for a third. Ayling. Well, he turned down the opportunity a few minutes ago, but he wasn't turning that one down, and it was an awkward bounce, you have to say, for Kovacevic, who will be grateful that he got something behind it. Nice turn from Kriskun. Darling. Not seen him and his long throw this afternoon. Harry Darling, which produced a goal down at Fratton Park last week, but not really been in the situation so far, Norwich City, to launch one into the area. McLean. Sargent waits in the penalty area. This is Schwartau. McLean again. Schwartau had strayed offside. Well, it was unconventional, but it was a save nonetheless. And another education for him this afternoon. He was the hero last week, Kovacevic, but one or two early errors in the first half. An uncertainty amongst the Norwich players, not just the defenders, it was one or two midfielders as well getting caught in possession. And really this game will be defined by the 2 minutes going up to half-time that have given Middlesbrough an advantage, really, that they've rarely looked like surrendering since. Sargent isolated at the moment. Norwich winning it back high up the pitch. Opportunities left and right here. Wiscorn wins the corner. Well, they scored from 2 set plays last week. They need something here with the minutes ticking away all too quickly. It's going to be an outswinger from the captain. Darling waits. Cordoba has gone off, so short of that attacking option. Forward it goes. Hansen's through there. Opportunity for a third goal. Oh, they've messed it up completely. Well, that should have been game, set and match for Middlesbrough. Over the top it goes, and Sargent's in here! Oh, my word! 20 seconds, the game turns on its head. Middlesbrough should be 3-0 up, but now suddenly there's only a goal between the two sides. Josh Sargent, 4 in 4 now. Well, this is an extraordinary league. It rarely disappoints. And Josh Sargent just waited and waited to the optimum moment. And Norwich City will have 10, maybe more minutes to go and chase this equaliser. Oh, Middlesbrough to be kicking themselves after missing that opportunity to score a third goal. Incredible, isn't it, football? And listen to the noise inside the ground now. The 10 men, don't forget, believe that they can get something out of this game. The boot is on the other foot. Last week, they were 2-0 up. Then it was 2-1, and they spent the final 10 minutes camped in their half defending. Their crossbar was rattled, their keeper made a number of good saves, but now they are trying to turn the screw on Middlesbrough. And they've got to get the ball first. Topic, lovely turn. Although Middlesbrough have won it back. Hackney. Borgzorg it was, trying to find Hansen. Instead it's Schlupp. Chris Gordon with the ball in. Darling. Schlupp. Topic. Schwartau over on that far side. Patience at the moment from Norwich. They don't have to quite throw the kitchen sink at it at the moment. They know there will be a fair amount of stoppage time. We had that Stacey injury. Morris was down injured as well. A lot of substitutions. A red card as well, of course. Could be a big number. Fisher. Topic. In towards Sargent. Off a Middlesbrough head. Hansen will try and prevent it going behind, and he does that. Borgzorg choices on that far side. Fisher for company. Borgzorg. Well, do they stick or do they twist? Middlesbrough at the moment, they're heading backwards. They are just keeping what they've got, trying to take the steam out of the occasion, trying to steal some seconds from the clock. Ayling. Britton. Hansen, is he onside? He is. Chance to get his head up. Borgzorg's in the centre. Topic. Schlupp. Oh, it's a loose ball by Schlupp. But the referee had already blown up for something. Well, they will be praying it's not another 2-1 defeat, as it was on the opening day of the season here against Millwall. There have been eventful games, recent matches here at Carrow Road. Tail end of last season, they lost at home to Portsmouth by 5 goals to 3. It turned out to be the last game for Johannes Hoff-Thorup. Jack Wilshere was then in charge of the next game against Cardiff that they won 4-2, and then the first game of this season was another coach in charge. Silvera departs, looking absolutely exhausted. He's done 90 minutes. Neto Borges is the man who replaces him.
The fourth official is indicating that there will be a minimum of 8 additional minutes.
Big roar from the crowd. 8 minutes of stoppage time for Norwich City to get a point that will feel like a victory. Hansen in towards Naipan, unable to pick out the man on loan from Manchester City, but importantly from Borough's point of view, they still have possession. Hackney stretching and winning the free kick. Medic is unhappy. Hackney's in some discomfort here. Just looked like Hackney had possibly overrun it there, and well, you can see why the Norwich man is a little disappointed the decision has gone against him. But I think Norwich are now frustrated with the fact that the clock is being run down, although no suggestion here from me anyway that Hayden Hackney is in any way not injured. You see Shane Duffy on the right-hand side there of Liam Manning just turning his head, one of the big-name players who could be leaving following the arrival of the new coach. Duffy's been a good servant for Norwich, but looks like he will be moving on. Delia Smith, Norwich City legend, witnessed all the ups and downs that this club has gone through in recent decades. She has enough perspective to not get carried away by 2 home defeats at the start of any season. Well, these lost seconds for Norwich should be added on to the 8 that they have been given to chase this equaliser. Hayden Hackney just having a word with 1 or 2 of the Norwich supporters. And of course means that they are down to 10 men for the time being. Borgzorg. Ayling. Naipan. Ayling comes to the rescue of his teammate there, and it's Borgzorg who thought for a moment that he might be in there. Medic didn't know that the flag was about to go up for offside. Well, an opportunity for a good old-fashioned lump forward from Medic. Up towards Sargent, who wants a free kick. He's not going to get it, to the frustration of the home supporters. This is Hansen. Middlesbrough so close they can touch it, but not yet. Kovacevic is out of his goal, and Hackney with an open goal! Oh, wide. Well, they have had the opportunities this afternoon, Middlesbrough, to put this game to bed. Kovacevic, having come the full distance, got to the ball, but then just gifted it up so cheaply. Hackney left frustrated. Ayling, well, the touch from his foot meant that Bryn couldn't pick it up. Well, it's been eventful, and you just wonder in the remaining few minutes whether we might have another big twist. Middlesbrough will be kicking themselves if it goes the way of Norwich City, because they should not be scrambling here to get over the line. Bodies go into the penalty area. They want to get it to Sargent. This is McLean. He's got the free kick. He might have played an advantage there, because Schlupp had a lot of space, but certainly can't complain about this. Kenny McLean here suggesting he wants to take it quickly. Morris it was, giving away the free kick. It's quite a long way out, isn't it? It's just that sort of few yards that makes you think it's going to be a chip into the area or a wall pass, but not a shot from distance. Well, there's been so much late drama at Carrow Road down through the years that no one is putting it past the 10 men to get an equalising goal here. Kenny McLean to take it. His first appearance of the season after injury. Lee Doughty is ready. 3 in the wall. Is McLean going to go for goal, possibly? Certainly his body shape doesn't indicate that. Just teases it in. Darling is one of the targets for him, but Middlesbrough will bring it clear. Kovacevic, got to be careful here. And Norwich, understandably, going to have to take risks all over the pitch to just keep possession, try and give themselves one last chance. Schlupp, forward it goes. Sargent. Just no one close enough to pick up the scraps off him on that occasion. But Sargent is then brought down. Well, it's going to be a problem here for Naipan, certainly a yellow card. Welcome to English footballer for the young Norwegian. The first of quite a few, I'm sure, in the Championship. So, into the final minute of the 8. McLean again with a free kick. Norwich needs something to break, edge of the penalty area. It's towards Medic. Middlesbrough again get it clear. Kovacevic finding Schlupp. McLean just up towards Harry Darling now, who's playing almost as a temporary centre forward. Why not? We've got a corner, and this is it. 8 minutes on the clock. Chris Gunn has won the corner. So effective from set plays last week. Can they conjure something up right at the death here in the 99th minute here at Carrow Road? Schwartau to take it. In towards the near post, McLean with the header. They want handball. The referee waiting. He's not going to give it. Norwich City's players and fans are adamant that there was a handball here. No VAR, of course, in the Championship, and Hayden Hackney will bring it clear. Bergzorg. Is he going to head to the corner flag? I don't think he is. Hackney. Hackney does well. Into the 100th minute. Long it goes. A very tired-looking Josh Sargent chases, hoping for something, but fearing the worst. Which neatly sums up the second half, really, for Norwich City. Darling jumps high, but not high enough. And that's it. Rob Edwards and Middlesbrough have hung on. 2 goals just before half-time gave them a huge foothold in this game. Azaz and Conway. Sargent scoring late on for Norwich City, who were down to 10 men for much of the second half after Jacob Wright picked up a red card. Middlesbrough, you have to say, over the full 90 minutes, deserved it. Conway claps his goal just before half-time, gave them breathing space. They were the better team, and they would have been kicking themselves, particularly with the late chances they missed, had they not returned home with another 3 points to continue their 100% start to this Championship season.